between two conflicting estimates. Somebody is lying.
Okay, my nieces and nephews, my lovers, my boys and girls, my non-binary, my folks of all genders and all the spectrums in between, all my lovers. Okay, let's talk about my disdain for corporate Democrats. You know, I would say I just don't like Democrats. I don't like Democrats, but what I don't like is the corporate Democrats. Anybody who takes corporate funding, anybody who takes there's the Justice Democrats and the corporate Democrats, and there are two different things. Our friend Nancy Pelosi, who we're going to talk about in this segment, is a corporate Democrat. In her own words, she is also a master legislator because of Obamacare, which is now getting dismantled as we speak. The Heritage Foundation piece of legislation that mandates that Americans be penalized if they do not buy private insurance, which I cannot think of anything more un-American than that. I, that's one part of Obamacare that I found deeply offensive. That I don't know why. I mean, that shit it was awful. To be penalized because you don't buy private insurance. Anyway, whatever. As opposed to a single payer healthcare. Now, this is something that Nancy Pelosi, she will fight against tooth and nail. She'll never fight for single payer healthcare for her constituents. She won't fight for really anything that any reasonable person wants. The type of people who like her, I would imagine, are identity politics type of people who like her because she's a woman. And back in times when I'm sure her political career was getting started, that was more of a novel idea. Whereas now, move 30, 40 years into the future, the idea of women being in politics is a relatively benign idea. Now that doesn't mean women don't face sexism, but I think the idea that a woman would become a politician is not shocking. I think we can at least say that at this point. It's relatively normalized at this point. So she's wielded institutional power for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. So even though she may be a woman, she still is a powerful woman, and she's still more powerful in terms of her as a human being, as a person, than the vast majority of people. I would say she's in the 1% in terms of the access and power and financial economic stature that she is able to possess. We have Wolfe Blitzer. He is a CNN, I don't know what you would call this, a pundit, analyst, commentator. He is not very bright because, and the reason I know is because CNN hired him. They would never hire someone who's left-wing or too bright or knows too much. They hire people who are careerists. They like having a position. They like saying to their family and friends that I'm on CNN. They like wearing a suit and tie and pretending that they're serious people. But they hate socialists. They hate single-payer healthcare. They hate government policies that would help everyday people. They love things that help big business and corporations. And that's just what it is. So this idea when people are like, this is left-wing, this is not left-wing, this is corporate. Everything you're watching here is some corporate shit, okay? So this is not power to the people television. The revolution will not be televised. Just understand that. They were saying that in a song, but it won't be. It ain't going to be on CNN. The CNN is never going to move the average person's life forward. They're only going to be antagonistic. They're going to fight against government policies that would help the average person. They're going to cheerleader for government policies such as war, police state. They have nothing to say. Nancy Pelosi has nothing to say about the prison industrial complex. She has nothing to say about the military industrial complex. She has nothing to say about labor rights. She has nothing to say about worker rights. She has nothing to say about regulations that could help the average worker. She has nothing to say about any educational reforms that could help average person to get access to better education. She has nothing to say about housing reform that would help get anybody closer to better, more fair housing and the explosion of the homeless population. She has nothing to say about many of the homeless people on the streets who are veterans, who are including veterans who could use help and services. She has a lot to say about us being in Afghanistan for 20 years, or she really has nothing to say in terms of anything that would help us. She's not in opposition to it. So I'm not sure what she's fighting for in terms of the regular people. It seems to me you're fighting for the people who donate to you, which is pretty much the entirety of modern politics. You fight for the people who give you money, just like someone who's running a YouTube show. You give content to the people who's messing with you. If regular people are messing with you on YouTube, you give content for regular people. If corporations want you to start saying something, then that's who you're fighting for. Wolfe Blitzer, Nancy Pelosi, they're all fighting for the ad revenue. That's what they are. This is all PR. This is propaganda. It has nothing to do with anything that you and me would consider helpful in our day-to-day lives, given that we are all tax-paying citizens. We all pay taxes, and we all deserve something for our tax revenue. But we'll see if we let's see. Now, here's the problem. Let me add one more thing about Nancy Pelosi before we get going. It was very difficult for me to watch this video. She's condescending. Democrats talk about civility politics. She's tremendously uncivil or uncivilized. She's rude. She's condescending. She doesn't know that much. She doesn't educate regular people who have anxieties and need help right now. She has no words of comfort for the American people. All she has is her ego. She comes onto CNN and she's going to fight with Wolfe Blitzer about. Listen to this and in your heart, say in your heart after you watch this video that this person really cares about the average working, struggling person.
As you know, there are Americans who are being evicted from their homes. They can't pay the rent. Many Americans are waiting in food lines for the first time in their lives. Can you look them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer?
Well, because, thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people.
Okay, here's the part that bothers me right out of the gate. I know I'm interrupting very early, but it's like, number one, the fakeness of this. Why are you thanking Wolfe Blitzer? How many times you've been on CNN? What do you need to thank him for? Just come on and answer the question he's asking you. I'm the American people. I am the American people. I am an American person. I don't want anything from you but to tell me what policies you are fighting for that are going to help regular people. I don't want to hear you complain about how bad the Republicans are. I can do that on my own. I can complain about Republicans on my own. You're here. You are on TV, national TV, cable broadcasts, to quell the anxieties and the fears of people who are facing evictions, lack of medical care. They still have to work and they might have COVID. We're in a pandemic and a recession right now. So all I want to hear from you is, what are you doing to make that better? Don't complain about Republicans. If you are going to complain about Republicans, have talking points. Say, here are some things in the bill specifically that the Republicans wanted that we think are untenable. Here are some things we wanted that they thought. Be professional. Don't come on CNN and say some shit that I could say. Watch her. What she's about to say, anybody could come on CNN and say. Takes no expertise whatsoever to come on CNN and say what she's about to say.
But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs? Why don't they accept ours? Our legislation is there.
Okay, the one thing she has on other people that I'll give her is that she served for 30 years, okay? The rest of us cannot say that, right? We can't come on CNN and say we've served in government for 30 years. I could say I've served my community for 30 years and no one would notice. But factually, she can say that and I can't. Everything else, let's see. I listen to people. Okay, well, thank you. And I know the needs, and the needs they're not being met. We don't need any of that. Just be specific. This is your time on national TV to be specific. Tell us exactly what's going on. Satiate my anxieties. I'm having anxieties. I need to pay rent. I'm out of my job. I'm talking as just someone who could be out there on the street. I'm picturing a person who could be really struggling right now and needing some words of comfort and something that shows some hope is on the horizon.
To do three things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work.
You're just literally just listing occupations right now. So what? Again, anyone can do this. You're just listing jobs.
We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives so that to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because Mitch McConnell says like this. Doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives. Our teachers, our transportation, our legislation is there to do three things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare.
She said three things primarily, and then she just starts rambling. I don't know that she's ever going to get to three things, three different. I had to go back for a second because she was like, "There's three things this thing is trying to do primarily," and she just goes off and fucking starts rambling.
Care workers, our police and fire first responders,
okay, you're just listing
our teachers,
occupations.
our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them.
Okay.
Many of them have risked their lives.
Again, just reminding you, she said there were three things primarily that this legislation is trying to do.
So that to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because Mitch McConnell says let the states go bankrupt.
Oh, and you know what? Don't say Mitch McConnell's name. You better keep his name out your mouth, because if you want to talk about a master legislator, the man is pure evil. I feel he is a psychopath, but he's doing everything he wants to do, and you are not doing. What are you doing? Oh, we did Obamacare and lost 1,200 Senate seats because I'm a master legislator. Yeah, I'm a master.
Excuse me for
Let the
interrupting,
states go bankrupt.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of
I
of your own.
understand that, but
but even
if
members
you
of
ask
your
me a
own caucus,
question,
even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. But let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat, and he just said this. He said, "People in need can't wait until February."
Ro Khanna's a gangster.
$1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal, put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
what I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues apologists for the.
Okay, right now she's doing the Ben Shapiro on BBC thing. What are you, radical leftist? I wish you would have told me, Wolfe Blitzer. How many times have you come onto Wolfe Blitzer's show? Like, how many times you come on a CNN, Nancy Pelosi? Fox News basically thinks you're left-wing, whatever, so a bunch of socialists. And here she is, she's arguing with Wolfe Blitzer. It's almost like, you get the feeling from Nancy Pelosi, she just wants to come on CNN and tell him what to, Wolfe Blitzer, here's what you say, and here's what I'm going to say. Then you say this. Then I worked in preschool, and like what was popular with the girls in preschool, the type of play they would do a lot of pretend play. And if you like, and there's always a dominant girl who basically wants to do what Nancy Pelosi's doing. They want to play like house, but they want to tell. Not only do they want to tell every kid what part they're doing, they want to tell them how to. It's like, okay, I'm going to be the mom, and then I'm going to tell you to go to bed, and then you're going to tell me you don't want to go to bed, but then I'm going to say you have to go to bed, and then you're going to argue with me. So they're literally directing the entire game, and you're watching this from the outside, and you're like, homegirl, if you don't share with your homies, they're not going to want to play with you eventually. So you learn that lesson in preschool, right? This is a grown-ass freaking woman is like basically trying to come on CNN and doesn't want any. She wants no resistance whatsoever. I want to come on CNN. I want to throw some layups. I want to do like easy shooting drills with no contest. I want to shoot jump shots without contest. I want to go into the batting cage and face the machine. I don't want any human opposition. Wolfe Blitzer, you need to go do this with the Republicans. You need to do that. She is incapable of going on CNN and just answering questions straightforward. And you wonder why people can't stand CNN, why when Trump calls it fake news, you're not going to see me. I don't care. I don't care when Trump calls y'all fake news. This is what I do when he calls y'all fake news. I just recede. I just go away. I don't even say nothing. I don't defend you, and I don't get mad at Trump. And either way, I'm like, if y'all had 30 years to be honest and not fearmonger, but all CNN does is fearmonger the heck out. They're disgusting. Like when the Twin Towers crashed, they just were playing that on a loop in the most distasteful, disgusting manner I'd ever seen in my life. It was like just pornography. It was pornographic the way they were just playing that stuff over and over again. Look at this explosion, plane into the building. People are dying in what you're watching people die, and they were just playing this shit on a loop like it was cool as fuck. This is the left wing media, distasteful trash. It has been ever since it was incepted. It was created.
The Republican position, Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now because people need help now.
Ro Khanna, that's not. You're such a condescending freaking witch.
But it's no use giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail that.
She didn't let it slip. She didn't let it slip. You're so petty. So petty. You got to suffer, American people, because she don't want no check with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's name's... We got an election, dog. We don't want to give him no more popularity points. Therefore, you got to suffer. Oh, you said it. You said it. You wouldn't have said it if it didn't mean nothing to you. So craven. She's so around yes people, she can't even hide it. Like a real person would have some finesse with it because they know how to deal. But she's always around people who capitulate to her. Because you can see, because the second Wolfe Blitzer, the most cupcake motherfucker on TV you could pop. There literally isn't anyone softer that could interview Nancy Pelosi than Wolfe Blitzer. I don't know who you could find softer, a softer ball throwing motherfucker than Wolfe Blitzer. And still look how antagonized she is. Like, who is softer than Wolfe Blitzer? You would literally have to be just licking on her boots in order for her to be pleased at this point. She's annoyed right now. She's annoyed that I have to be on public television and explain why I didn't accept the deal. And you notice how in all of her annoyance, she hasn't given you one detail. She's just giving you like three things about our thing, and then she just started rambling. I mean, she old, though. She old. So you see some of that, you may be not as sharp as you used to be. But you just, or maybe she's as sharp as she ever was, and that's just the game. It's just rambling the fuck off and getting pissed. And then Wolfe Blitzer's supposed to like back down and be like, I don't want to annoy you, Nancy Pelosi. I'm not going to keep asking you questions because I'm annoyed. To his credit, he's getting paid, so who cares? I'll ask you all the questions I want to ask you for $100,000 a year. I mean, he's making way more than that. But I'm saying for the money Wolfe Blitzer was making, you can insult me, Nancy Pelosi. I'll ask you questions. You condescend to me all day, you know, from my little mansion. You know, Wolfe Blitzer's got it like that.
We should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local. We're talking about the consequences of a pandemic.
What are you saying? You're just saying things that are
of a problem
you're just saying shit
that the
that
president
exists.
Refuses to address.
But you know,
but what are you doing to address
that is
it?
The coronavirus.
No. See, again, I get so annoyed. It's like homegirl. You on CNN to explain your position. We already know that Donald Trump is trash. We already know. We already know. So you don't need to say you don't need to come on and say one negative thing about Donald Trump. It's not necessary. Again, I keep focusing. All you need to do is tell the American people how's this shit gonna get better. Like, you're a professional. Don't, even if you think it's Donald Trump's fault, and you believe it in your heart of hearts, you're a professional. Let that shit go and then get specific. Say, here is the things in Donald Trump's bill that we just don't like. And then say, get specific, because you don't need to say Donald Trump's. We already know that. It's like we're darn near 4 years through it. We already know everything we need to know. So forget about that. You're wasting everybody's time telling us what your opinions on Donald Trump. Just tell us specifically how are we going to move forward? Get back at, even though they're monsters, you better go work with them and do something for the American people. Stop blaming Republicans. Nobody cares. Everybody on Facebook and all of that and social media, we all blaming Republicans. We get it. They're bad. Oh, Republicans bad. What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do now? We don't need another Twitter. That's all she's doing. She's Twitter posting with verbally on CNN. We don't need that. Just, you're the expert. Tell us what you can do next to make it move forward so that people can find some relief.
Out there, but there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion, and the president just tweeted, stimulus, go big or go home. He wants even more right now, so why not work out a deal with him, and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good.
Well, I will not let the wrong be the enemy of the right.
What's wrong with $1.8 trillion?
Well, you know what? Do you have any idea what the difference is between the spending that they have in their bill and that we have in?
No, I don't, Nancy Pelosi, but you're on CNN. Can you just educate me? You don't need to say it in a condescending way. Educate us. Let us know. You have a whole segment, the whole privilege of the microphone. No one's interrupting you. Say it. Tell us how you're helping us. He's like, well, and she's attacking Wolfe Blitzer. Again, the most cupcake person. She's all like mad at him. Gosh, like you are a snowflake. This is so pathetic. This is so like resistance.
In our bill, do you realize that they have come back and said all these things for child tax credits and earned income tax credits for helping people who have lost their jobs are eliminated in their bill? Do you realize?
She's kind of alluding to things, but she's not presenting it in an educational, here's what she's presenting it in like this rambly, offhanded, I'm frustrated, so I'm just listing off shit. Just you're a professional, you're getting paid, we elected you. Like, take your time and you're gonna go. She just doesn't care. She's like, she's literally like, I'm gonna go on CNN and just wing it. I don't have anything to tell anybody. I'm Nancy Pelosi, bitch. I don't need to be prepared, dog.
Realize they pay no respect to the fact that child care is very important for people whose children can.
Oh, child care is important for children. She's going to, again, start listing platitudes. Like, I'm going to start saying things that exist in the world.
Cannot go to school because they're doing remote learning, and yet they minimize the need for child care, which is the
I mean, what have you done to maximize the need for childcare? What legislation? That's all you need to say. Just say, this is what we've done to help childcare, and they're against that. Just say it in legislative terms. Don't speak in this like they suck and we're trying to do the right things and they want to do the bad thing. That's literally all she's saying right now. She's like, we want to do good stuff, like help workers, and they don't. Like.
Threshold with which people, mothers and fathers, can go to work if they have that. Do you have any idea of how
that's precisely why, Madam Speaker,
short they're concerned?
That's why it's so important right now. Yesterday I spoke to Andrew Yang, who says the same thing. It's not everything you want,
but you know what?
There's a lot there.
Honest to God, you really, I can't get over it because...
She's so angry. Like, why are you bringing up Andrew Yang? Why are you bringing up Ro Khanna? They don't know anything. Do you know that I know everything and they don't? What's wrong with you? Why are you bringing up these people? What are you, some sort of like shill, Wolfe Blitzer? I didn't know I was gonna come on CNN and get these hardball questions. Like, calm the fuck down. If you disagree with Andrew Yang, just say it. Just be like, you know what? Andrew Yang has his ideas. Ro Khanna has his ideas, you know, but I got my ideas, and then list off, you know, maybe 2-3 other motherfuckers who are down for your ideas. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to get mad. Like, you are a professional. Everything you're doing right now, you're getting paid. you are fine. You have all the food to eat. You have a bunch of chocolate fucking ice cream in your freezer because we know you can't live without fucking chocolate ice cream. So you're fine. Why are you? Look at this person. This is what you see with people with money and power. These people, it's never enough. She has everything, and like it just is this softball segment on with Wolfe Blitzer on CNN just makes her upsets her so much. She's so upset. Literally, she has all the privileges in the world that regular people, way more privilege than the average person. And she's so upset. She just, oh my gosh, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Why are you bringing up Andrew Yang? And like, if you think they don't know anything, just chillly say that. You don't. Why are you so angry? It's just ridiculous. It's like we are looking for you to bring calm and chill to the American people, and you're just going on CNN and be like, Wolfe Blitzer, you need to do this and that. And why are you talking about this and that person? And it's like, gosh, it's like that energy is so off-putting, which is why I'd never call myself a Democrat. Like, ooh, it's embarrassing.
Andrew Yang, he's lovely. Ro Khanna, he's lovely. They are not negotiating this situation. They have,
and then even that condescending, they're lovely. And look at her face when she's saying it. Look how upset she. Oh, they're lovely. They're fucking lovely. But you keep they're lovely. They're fine. They're fine. But they don't know shit. But they're fine though. They're lovely. I'm using nice words. I'm civility. This is the most she's unhinged.
Have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what the language is here. I didn't come over here
That's
to
what
have.
she said.
So you're the apologist for the Obama. Excuse me. God forbid.
Madam Speaker,
I'm apologist for Obama. Her God, Obama. She's a Freudian slipped. She keeps calling Wolfe Blitzer an apologist. It's like, again, you're just Ben Shapiro BBCing your way through a CNN interview, and none of these like freaking neoliberal butt posters on Facebook and shit are ever gonna be like, did you see this embarrassing shit? Because she does this shit all the time. She's so used to go on CNN and make a fool of myself. No problem. I'm Nancy Pelosi, bitch. That shit will not negatively affect my life in any way. I will. This is the height of privilege. I'm gonna go on CNN and act a tremendous fool, and no one's gonna say shit because I'm Nancy Pelosi, dog. The fuck, you sexist if you criticize me. I'm a woman, dog, a powerful woman who's oppressed. So I know. Nah, I've gone too far. I've gone too far. I was too far. All right, let's go.
Apologist, I'm asking you serious questions because so many people are in desperate need right now. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When was the last time?
Let me respond to you.
Let me ask you, when was the last time, Madam Speaker, when was the last time you spoke with...
If you watch a video where we watched Francis Cress versus the William Shockley, the Nazi, that shit was way more civil than Nancy Pelosi. So I don't know. I think civility is stupid and overrated because, you know what? I said Donald Trump is entertaining. Nancy Pelosi's entertaining in a different kind of way. It's like it's just a master class in like how ridiculous our democracy is to have people like this in power. These geriatric, like aloof, condescending, out of touch, no nothings.
With the president about this.
I don't speak to the president. Speak with his representative.
Why not call him and say, Mr. President, let's work out a deal. It's not going to be everything you want, not going to be everything I want, but there are so many Americans right now who are in desperate need. Let's make a deal.
What makes me amused, if it weren't so sad, is how you all think that you know more about the suffering of the American people than those of us who are elected by them to represent them.
I was elected. It's ridiculous how you think you know. I'm sorry, I'm gonna laugh for a second, but because it's so silly. I'm like, really, really, really think about it. Like, what has Wolfe Blitzer done in this interview to suggest that he thinks he knows more than that? What has he done? Like, he's done nothing offensive. Like, he's done nothing that you could really, any normal person could conceive as he's asked some, like, at the very harshest, you could say he's asked some tough questions. He's asked her some tough questions. I mean, which, again, that's up to interpretation, because I think this shit is the most soft. I don't know that it can get any more softballed than a Wolfe Blitzer interview. But I don't know. Like, this is, but she's definitely, she's sweating for some reason, even though this is a relatively, like, she should easily get through this without having, like, kind of these outbursts.
At that table. It is unfortunate that we do not have shared values with this White House, and that they have in their bill, why don't you talk about in their bill, a tax break for the wealthiest families in the country, while they cut out the earned income tax credit for the poorest families in our country and the poorest children in our country.
This is what I'm talking about. If you have these points prepared and just talk about them calmly. The fact that you are getting so angry is just what it suggests to me is that your talking points are not strong, right? So if she did actually bring out and present her talking points in a reasonable, hinged, normalized fashion, you'd be able to analyze what she's saying and be like, that's all trash. So she knows that that's not going to work. So instead she goes on this victim, I'm a victim, Wolfe Blitzer, you're an apologist, and you're just attacking me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, she knows, because all the things she's saying about Trump's bill versus her bill, because she's so duplicitous, she's never going to be honest, right? You can tell by the fact she's getting so triggered by this that when she does start trying to bring out facts, she's going to manipulate them and be dishonest. She's not to be trusted at this point. Anyone who's this angry, if you're honest and earnest and you're really fighting for the American people, there's no question that Wolfe Blitzer should be able to ask you that should throw you off your pace. You just straight up. You should just be able to be straight up. The fact that you're so angry means you're insecure with the shit. You know that you're not doing things for the American people in it. And the fact that you could possibly be called out for it on national TV is upsetting you. That's what I'm reading from this situation. Because again, I'm a layman. I'm listening to Nancy Pelosi to give me expertise. When she doesn't start saying specific things about the bill until she's upset and angry, that to me suggests you're just saying them to make it seem like you're bringing up valid points and that they sound governmenty, but they're not real. Because you could just say it in a calm way. Why are you saying it? That's literally how I decipher the news, because I don't believe them. So I just go by how they react to simple questions, and she's having a meltdown. So that's telling me that's emblematic of something else is a problem here.
We have to fight with them to get them to address the coronavirus crisis, because they have said it was a hoax, it was magical, it was a miracle, it was going to cure it. It hasn't. And that's why we find ourselves in this situation. I feel very confident about the knowledge that I bring to this, but more importantly, the knowledge that my...
What knowledge? Knowledge of what? You've not said anything that displays you have any more knowledge than anybody else who could have come on CNN and put on a nice clothing and comb their hair, right? The only thing you said that I will give you credit for is that you've been serving in government for 30 years, which most people could not come on CNN and say. But everything else you said, anyone else could say. Anyone could probably just do a little bit of research on what's going on in the bill and say everything you see. You're just saying you don't know shit, but you're not telling us anything so that you're not giving us information so that we know. This is something that I cannot stand when people say, oh, you don't know shit, but then they don't educate you. Are you just saying that to be condescending? Because I don't really need you to be condescending. I don't think anybody needs that. If you really want me to know so that it helps me understand your position, then just explain it. I don't know why you this is why I find her so distasteful. I don't like her.
Our chairs of jurisdiction, science-based, academically documented, institutionally suggested in terms of what the cost would be to do it and to do it that way. And we talk about child care, yes. We talk about safety in the workplace, safety in the workplace. That's a very important issue, especially in the time of the pandemic.
Rambling.
So what I say to those people is, we're going to get a deal. And when we do, it will be retroactive. It will be retroactive.
Here's what you wrote in a letter to House Democrats, Madam Speaker. And I ask these questions only, as you know, so many millions of Americans are suffering
Well, you
right
quote
now.
two people who know nothing about the agreement.
Well-
or not, there is no agreement, but what the suggestion.
You're doing it. She's just compulsive. Just calm down. It's just Wolfe Blitzer. It's not a big deal. Nothing that Wolfe Blitzer says on your interview is ever going to change people's, like, the people who rock with you, they're still going to rock with you. Just calm down and answer the questions. It's just chill the fuck out. And I'm getting, because when I tried to watch this on my own, like, every time she just has an outburst, I just get so, like, I'm like, gosh, like, whoa. Like, come on. Like, this interview could be like half the length of time if you just answered his questions and then you were out. Even if you answered them in a crap fashion, no one would care. No one cares. No one cares. Like, just as long as you just remain. The only thing Nancy Pelosi, again, all I'm saying is, like, even if you can't do anything for the American people, your job then is to be like, look, our negotiations have stalled, but at least I can just keep people calm, be like, look, we're going to work something out. We got to iron this out. Republicans got some things going on in there that we just don't agree with. And me and a few of these other senators are saying, we can't do this. Like, the reason she's not doing that, because she can't do that in an honest and earnest way that is helpful to the American people. She knows it's really more about egos, and it's more about she doesn't want a check with Trump's name on it when an election's coming up. She doesn't want that shit.
Are as if there's some authority on the subject. Please give equal weight to to all of the chairmen on the committee who have written this bill.
But so many of your fellow Democrats in the House, they want a deal right now.
No, that isn't.
The problem solvers, they all want a deal right now.
Yeah.
And here's what they're complaining about, because you wrote a letter to House Democrats and you said this. Let me read a line from the letter you wrote. The president only wants his name on a check to go out before Election Day and for the market to go up. Is that what this is all about? Not allow the president to take credit if there's a deal that will help millions of Americans right now?
He's not that important, but let me say this.
He's not that important, but you're always blaming him for not being able to get stuff done. Like, which is it? Is it one or the other? Like, just pick one. Pick one. It's cool. Again, like, it's not a big deal, Nancy Pelosi. Just stand for something and rock with it. Like, it's all good. He's like, oh, he's not that big a deal. He's not that big. Like, because she knows it is a big deal. She just put his name in her mouth in terms of, like, his administration. It's their fault that we can't get shit done. And now he's not that important. You're just up here playing games on CNN. It's like a big joke to her because it doesn't matter. She's got a freezer full of ice cream, $24 pint ice cream or whatever. I don't know, but she's fine. So she can come up on CNN and be not serious and be a kind of clownish. And who cares?
With all due respect, and you know
something. This is like, okay, you ever seen Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby? And he's like, with all due respect, that idea ain't worth a second or whatever. He just starts insulting him. And he's like, well, I said with all due respect. He's like, as long as I say with all due respect first, I'm about to unload some trash out of my mouth towards you. She's like, I'm like, get ready for it. With all due respect, fuck you. Let's go back a second. Shit is funny. I love this. With all due respect, you're like, uh-oh. With all due respect.
Is that what this is all about? Not allow the president to take credit if there's a deal that will help millions of Americans right now?
He's not that important. But let me say this. With all due respect, and you know we've known each other a long time, you really don't know what you're talking about. If the plural of anecdote is not data. Yes, there's some people who said this or that. Overwhelmingly, my caucus wants what is right for the American people. Overwhelmingly, our chairman who wrote the bill, read their statements. They all put out their own statements when they saw what the White House was proposing. So do a survey.
OMG. what did Wolfe Blitzer say in this entire interview that was like, I know what I'm talking about and you don't? He literally was like, these people have different opinions than you. What do you think? And he like, what do you say to that? Like, what did Wolfe Blitzer say that deserved being told in response, you don't know what you're talking about? Like, I get it. Like, I don't like Wolfe Blitzer. I don't think he's a very bright person. But like in this interview, what did he like? You know, if I was having this kind of discussion to him, and I was like, with all due respect, Wolfe Blitzer, you don't know what you're talking about. What would he have said to me? Would he have said to? He didn't say anything to her. It's such an inappropriate thing to say to him, because he didn't say anything that suggested he knew anything. He literally was just saying, these people think this, what do you think? These people think that, what do you think? The American people are suffering, why not take the deal? He didn't say, you should take the deal because we know more than you. He's saying, if you're not going to take the deal, just explain why. And her response is, you know, with all due respect, you don't know what you're talking about. So let's just, I'm just going to go over this again. So Wolfe Blitzer's like, hey, these people disagree. Like, they think you should take the deal, and American people are suffering. Why not take the deal? And Nancy Pelosi's like, what? You don't, with all due respect, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how you would respond appropriately to someone. That's just literally just saying whatever you want, and quite frankly, saying something very rude and dismissive of him. Even though I kind of think like he deserves it, you know, to a degree, but not from her. Like, it's kind of like, it's like, I get to make fun of my brother. You don't. You know what I mean? Like, I get to make fun of Wolfe Blitzer and give him a shitty time. You don't, Nancy Pelosi. You're supposed to be on his side. And you're so like, ugh, you're so bothered. Wolfe Blitzer's just a little gnat and a fly that you just, God damn it, why'd I have to come on here and answer these questions? With all due respect, you know what the fuck you're talking about, asshole. She should have just called him a dickhead afterwards. That would have been dope. With all due respect, I've known you for a long time, and you know what you're talking about, you dick. That would have been funny. That would have been like dope if she just called him a fucking asshole or a prick afterwards.
What is right for the American people. Overwhelmingly, our chairman who wrote the bill, read their statements. They all put out their own statements when they saw what the White House was proposing. So do a service to the issue and have some level of respect for the people who have worked on these issues, written the bill to begin with. Now,
yes, in this segment, it is Wolfe Blitzer who is disrespected every. She is literally like fucking just like Trump. She is horrid. This is a horrible, horrible person. Like, oh my God, she's horrible. Insufferable.
let me just say this in terms of the numbers. I want people to do the math. We had 3.4, which would meet the needs of the American people for a sustained period of time, so that there was some certainty in what would happen. The Republicans said no, well, so we took it down $1 trillion by cutting the time. We took it down another $200 billion. So we're now $1.200 billion down. We came down to 2.2. At the same time, since tomorrow will be 5 months since we passed the bill, at the same time, because there was no resolution, Mitch McConnell said, let's pause. The virus didn't pause, and now we're at a place where we need more money. We need more money for PPP, for our small businesses. We need more money for our airlines. We need more money for our schools. So we have absorbed nearly $500 billion more of expenses still within the 2.2.
I understand all of that, and I have only the greatest respect for you.
So do the math.
Madam Speaker, I have only the greatest respect for you.
We have come down $1.6 or $7 trillion.
$1.8 trillion. $1.8 trillion is a lot of money. The American people need that money ASAP because they're suffering right now. And I'm not saying...
She's getting annoyed. She's getting so annoyed. She's like, I'm going to start insulting him again. What do you think? She thinks she's going to start insulting him again? Or you think, like, she just can't handle this type of conversation. She just becomes kind of an unhinged, kind of witchy spellcaster.
It's perfect But I'm
And
saying
you don't care how it's spent.
Well,
And you don't
I
care
care,
how
of
it's
course,
spent.
how it's spent. But what I
Well,
don't
you don't
understand
even know
is
how it's
why
spent.
not
You don't even
talk
know
to
how
the
it's spent.
president personally, call him up.
Again, like, if just reemphasize how it's spent. Don't tell us we don't know things. That's really distasteful. Just tell us the things we should know. Don't tell me I don't know something. Just tell me what I should know. And try to do it in a kind and not condescending way. Look, just be like, look, I understand $108 trillion, but some of the spending that's on this, and this, we can't. This is too much for us, so we just can't do the. You know what I mean? Like, just have your talking points ready when he comes through like this. Don't start getting angry and start insulting him. Like you know what I mean? Like, just calm yourself. I keep saying it. It's like, it's the same thing like with Republicans. Like, they come on and they're throwing shots, and you're like, whoa, buddy, chill the fuck out. Just answer the question. You don't need to go to these other places and get all angry.
And say, Mr. President, let's get a deal tomorrow.
Look, let me say this. The president has
Whoa, she started, look, honey. Look. Wolfe Blitzer. You dishonest know-it-all. You just come, you asked me on CNN, why did you even ask me here if you know it all, Wolfe Blitzer?
sent Mr. Mnuchin to negotiate. That's what we've done with other presidents. This isn't unusual. With President Bush, we did this quite a bit because that's how you negotiate.
With President Bush, we did this a bit. Oh, no, that was a dope administration. That was great. I'm glad yeah, no, it's good. It's good. We're still in that war, too. So, bipartisan. That was bipartisan. Master legislator.
And then you take it to the president. This, Mr. Mnuchin, I think he has integrity representing his position. May I finish, please? But he has integrity representing his position, but his position has no integrity. They do not share our values. Have a little respect for the fact that we know something about these subjects. And there's a big difference between Democrats and Republicans in whether they want to give a big tax cut to the wealthiest people in the country in their bill, in the CARES Act. We tried to take it out in this bill. Instead, they took out earned income tax credit, child tax credit, expanded health benefits to UI benefits to the extent that it was agreed to before.
All right.
So this is, I have every confidence in what and the arguments that we make because it's based on science and documentation. Our chairs know their stuff. They know what they're doing, with all due respect to the kind of people you were referencing. And I welcome their enthusiasm. I welcome their interest. I welcome their originality of their thinking. But the fact is, we have a responsibility to meet the needs of the American people in a retroactive way, so they're not at a total loss. They are at a loss because...
Please, if you can, whoever watches this and you're able to vote for his Shahid Buttar, please vote for this guy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess Nancy Pelosi is getting at that age where she will have to retire soon at some point, but she stresses me out. Like, listening to her again, it's actually easier. It's easier to listen to Donald Trump than her. Like, because with Donald Trump, you kind of expect it, and it's funny because of that. And he's kind of dopey, and he can tell a joke, you know, and he has these stupid little nicknames, and he's entertaining. I mean, the man was on TV like almost his entire life, so he's kind of entertaining, and like, so again, I'm not to say that makes him a good person. It just means, like, with the MAGA people, I get his appeal. Like, I get his demagogic, if that's not even a word, demagogic appeal. Like, he isn't condescending to his fans. He'll condescend about the other side. He'll talk shit. Like, he does it like WWF. Like, he knows, like, hey, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, let's play it like that. With Nancy Pelosi, it's like, this is supposed to be like, you come on CNN throws you some softballs, and you make the American people feel better. Instead, you end up just coming on and arguing with Wolfe Blitzer and telling him he doesn't know anything and that he needs more respect. And he's like literally the most softest pussycat person on television. Number one. Number two, you're on television, which is kind of the most softest pussycat format ever. It's like, it's not like you're online where people would roast you to smithereens. You're like on cable TV, like those cupcake of media forms nowadays, where you can't even swear on this. It's like, it's so gentry, and like even still, you're so ticked off.
Because the president has ignored the virus. I wish he would spend time on the fact that if he had not ignored the virus, we wouldn't be in the position we're in, but we are.
I've had enough. I've had enough of you blaming other people for your inability to do shit. Yeah, again, like with the corporate Democrats and CNN, this is unwatchable. I'm watching this for the purposes of like talking smack, and like that's all well and dandy, and I'll do that. But this is the kind of shit that radicalizes people and turns people off, This is even the kind of stuff that turns people away from the Democratic Party and over to Trump. Like this just inability to go on television, answer straight questions, be open and honest, be calm, even if you're upset at Wolfe. Even if Wolfe Blitzer did say something offensive, which he didn't. But even if he did, you're better than that. You should be calm and collected and like be able to, no matter what stupid kind of question he gives you, if that's how you feel about his questions, you should just be able to still be cool and chill. But you go on CNN and you're literally unhinged. You're literally just out of control. Like, look at her face. Just unhinged. Her face has been in this state for like the vast majority of it. It either goes between that or this like marmy little fucking smile she has. She's like like this pretend fucking bullshit smile, and it's just like again, I don't like to talk about these people a lot, so I'll tend to do like a longer form video and just leave it be, but like, and then just reference the fact that I don't like freaking corporate Democrats. And she's like, if you ever wonder why, just look at Nancy Pelosi. That whole video, she just gave a master class in how to turn all your constituents off. You know what I'm saying? Even when Donald Trump is dog whistling to freaking white supremacists, at least he knows who his base is. At least he knows who his base is, and he's at least trying to be somewhat finesseful to still dog whistle to them, but still act like he's not. At least he's trying to play that game. You know what I mean? And this is with Nazis. Nancy Pelosi can't even do that with not even lefties, just let alone lefties, just regular people who aren't that political, but just want their lives to get better. She can't even satiate those people. You know what I mean? She doesn't have the political skill and the savvy and the ability and the television savvy to go on TV and not make herself look like anything more than kind of a hateful, privileged, disconnected, aloof person. You know, I mean, she has no ability to go on television and make the average person in the time of an epidemic and a recession just throw crumbs to make people feel just a little bit better. That's why, and that's another reason this kind of stuff is damaging to your mental health. You're looking for your leader to make something better, and you're watching CNN, and all they're doing is arguing with the host. And I realize like that I can't keep a positive outlook on life and a healthy mental state and watch CNN regularly and watch this type of shit and like believe in it. I can watch CNN with that separated distance of knowing it's freaking a dumpster fire of trash. But the idea that I would watch this and like really hope, I hope Nancy Pelosi, if I was watching this hoping Nancy Pelosi says the right thing or helps us out or throws us a little bone. It would that would never happen. And so when I would get into conversations with regular people, or I see people post things that CNN say online, or I just like I hate it. That's another reason why I got off Facebook. I was like, I don't want to see people repost this shit. Like, this shit is trash. Nancy Pelosi is trash. Don't post Democrats are good. They're not. The only ones that are good are the corporate are the Justice Democrats. The rest of them are who take corporate money and go on Wolfe Blitzer, the softballer to ever throw a softball and get all unhinged to the point where your face is in this kind of angry, disturbed, position for at least 2/3 of the interview. She goes between this kind of like condescending, like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, to this, we're doing like this like little smile she does that is just very unsettling. Okay, so that's enough of that. Frickin' A. Yeah, this is not left-wing shit at all. And it's an embarrassment for you to call this shit or MSNBC or Rachel Maddow or any of that nonsense anything but fear-mongering so that they can get you to watch more, so they can get you to buy more ads. That's all corporate media is. It's not even, I mean, you could call that act sinister, but it's not like purposefully sinister. It's just tremendously mediocre and lazy and empowered. When you're mediocre, lazy, and empowered, this is the kind of shit that you output. This type of CNN interview. This, just look at the freeze frame. Everything you see here in this frame is the result of laziness, mediocrity, access, and privilege. When you have privilege, you have access, and you're tremendously mediocre, this is what is likely to be the outcome of the shit that you do. This Wolfe Blitzer at motherfucker and Nancy Pelosi. These are the type of people you're bound to produce in a neoliberal society where if you're very mediocre but you follow the rules and are a rule follower, you too can make it all the way to CNN and spout nonsense so that everyone believes in nonsense and you get paid lots of money and the ad revenue and the corporations are just like running to the bank and they love it. Okay, this is trash. Turn the fucking television off, my nieces and nephews. Only watch this shit if one of the leftists that you like filters it for you. Don't watch this shit on its own. All right. At least give lefties some cash when you do it. Right. At least let Kyle Kalinske or David Dole watch it with you, so you don't have to be traumatized by this nonsense. All right. Thank you, my lovers. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching.